Hi, it's the MLM for the Soul channel. I do have a new topic for today. Before I begin, I just would like to say, may the words and expressions of my mouth and the thoughts and meditations of my heart find favor and acceptance before Hashem. And this is the continuation of a new series. This is part number 2, and I call this Personal Stories and Practical Lessons to Learn or Apply. So, what does this sefer called Or HaLevana from Rabbi Yaron Reuven and this receipt from the post office, which is not so clear on the top, but it is from USPS, and this bubble mailer here, I just have the information crossed out for privacy. What does this have to do with what my topic is about? So I will tell you. So we'll start the story from when it happened, of course, was back in 23. So the post office, this was on June 27 of 23, which is a Tuesday. And you'll understand why I'm sharing you all this information. It will all make sense in the end. So I had contacted Rabbi Yaron Reuven. He has a website called BeEzrat Hashem. I have all this information in the description below the video. So I have a whole bunch, or I had, I should say, a whole bunch of extra CDs that I had been given and I had never given out. So I offered them to him. I think I texted him at the time. I don't have the text message anymore. Asking him if he would like me to send them to him on my charge for him to use in his kiruv packages. He was doing a kiruv package where he has all these books and CDs, and I don't know if he's still doing that. But I offered them. I figured it'd be nice to add them to that because I wasn't giving them out, and it was, things that he would approve of. So he agreed that I could send it to him. And then I asked him in return, I heard about his new sefer, which I mentioned here. This is called Or HaLevana. It's not so new now, but this is on Drashot Al Seder HaParshiot, which is for the portion of the week. So it's all in Hebrew, but I wanted it because I do fairly well in Hebrew. So I said, will you be willing to send it to me in exchange, and I will send you a prepaid mailer, this is what it is. So he said, fine. So I went to the post office to send the CDs. I sent them via media mail, which is on the receipt here. I don't know if I could show you that. You could see that it says media mail. I don't know if you could see that there. It says media mail here. So anyway, I went to the post office. And since it's media, CDs are media, I also had some little booklets from in there. And I figured I would send it that way. It's not as costly. It does take a little longer, but that's okay. There was no rush to have it arrive at some particular date. So, and it's funny because I actually just looked up the tracking number for the media mail, and it's on the receipt, but it doesn't show up when I try to track it now. It's over a year later, so I guess they said you have to go into the archives and they charge you for it, which I'm not interested in doing, but it doesn't matter. And I also even looked up the envelope tracking number and the same thing, because it's from so long ago, I guess it's not retained in their system unless you pay to go to the archives. But anyway, besides that, so what did I do? I had to pay for stamps to put on this, since I was not sending it, since I was putting it in a box for it to be sent, therefore I had to do it that way. So I had to buy the stamps, and the person at the post office put the stamps on the envelope and gave me the tracking information, everything. So I had a copy of that for myself so I would know what's going on. Okay, so fine. So it goes out on the 27th, and then I figured they'd get it soon after. I don't remember I don't remember at the time now, because since this is already a while ago. I maybe checked the tracking, but I wasn't getting any information from the media mail tracking. I don't know. I don't remember. But it says on the receipt here, estimated delivery date was Wednesday, July the 5th. I figured, okay, great. So that's when it's estimated. Since it's leaving on Tuesday, it's going to come the following Wednesday. Again, media mail takes longer. So, okay, so fine. Baruch Hashem, it'll get there when it'll get there. At least I had tracking in case there's an issue. You can always contact them. Okay, so very good, and I never checked, and you'll understand why after. I never checked the stamps that are on the this priority mail. Is a priority mail flat rate. It's called a flat rate envelope, and it's bubbled, so it has some protection. So on a flat rate envelope, you can put as much as you want in here. There's just one charge, so there's not more than one charge for the payment of the envelope. Okay, so fine. So I don't remember if I heard from Rabbi Reuven that he received it and he said thank you. I can't remember the dates at all, but I believe it arrived sooner than that. And why do I say that? Because fast forward, I actually received this with the Sefer. I also had asked him for some other things, but they didn't come. I asked him with this Sefer. It arrived the day after the media mail box was supposed to get to him. And that box was about 4 pounds, 10, it says 10.3 ounces. So I saved all this because I wanted to do a video about this because there's more amazing stuff than just that. So the fact is that it got there so fast that by the turnaround, I actually got this with the Sefer in it back the day after the box of the media mail with the CDs and everything was supposed to arrive to him, to his office. So, okay, fine. So, and then I don't know if I looked up the tracking of the not the media mail, of the flat rate envelope too, and it wasn't giving me any updates. And even, like I said, I looked at that now and I can't get updates because it's from over a year, more than a year and a half ago. So, so I'm like, okay, so it arrived. So great. So I think it came, like I said, the day after because I know the parasha, it says, I remember the parasha was Pinchas, so I started a Pinchas in the Sefer because it goes according to, I could show you here. So you can just open it up to any place here to just show you. Let me just find, I don't know if I can find Pinchas is in Bamidbar. Here's Pinchas. Let's see, here is Parshas Pinchas. So this is for you to see what the Sefer looks like a little bit. So here is Parshas Pinchas. So that's where I started the Sefer because that's where I was up to as far as receiving it. Okay, but then I wasn't paying so much attention. And I don't know if I looked at the envelope and I had still my receipt, which Baruch Hashem I saved. And it was unbelievable. Why? So I look at, first of all, the envelope. If you look clearly at the stamps on top, usually they stamp them. Meaning once they're used, they're used. So they're not used, but according to law, you're not allowed to reuse the stamps because that would not be okay. So I didn't plan to reuse them, but that's the stamps. But normally I think you normally put like a stamp on it so that it's used. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing then is that I'm looking at the stamps. I'm looking at my receipt, and I'm a little confused because it says I've gotten a $5 a floral geo, that's this one, and then $2 floral geos, which is these two, and it says here I also paid for $1 Statue Freedom, which is not on here, and the 40 cents Red Fox, which is the last one. So I was like, huh? I was like, okay, I paid for that. So this should have costed at that time, if the price has actually gone up, should have costed me, it costed 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.40. So on here there were only stamps for $8.40. So my question is, did that one fall off? Did I never notice when the person at the post office put the stamps on, did I not see that it was actually not put on? So I don't know what happened. So the amazing part of it is that I received it. That's Hashem. If you don't think that's Hashem, then I don't know what you think, because the fact that I received it with less postage than was supposed to be on there, because the price was supposed to be $10.40. I paid $10.40. There was only $9.40 on here. If you look, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the last one is 40 cents. So that was amazing. When I noticed that, I says, wow, I have to do a video about this, because it just shows you Hashem decided it was going to get to me no matter what amount was on the postage. So again, I don't know what happened to that other stamp, and I don't think I ever looked at it when the person was putting on to notice, like, uh-oh, where's that other stamp? I had no clue. So that's that thing. So now you understand why I'm showing all this. And then the fact that it got back to me a day after the box was supposed to get to him, which is across, it was a coast to coast, it went from the box that I sent him went from west to east, and the mailer that he sent back to me was from east to west. So the fact that I got it back a day after his mail was supposed to arrive to him is also amazing. So that was two amazing things. I'm like, wow, Hashem decided no matter what, it was going to get to me quicker than it should have. Probably with priority mail, I think it usually takes a few days. So I would have gotten it, I don't know when. If that box arrived then, it probably wouldn't come till the following week. Again, the issue was not that I needed it at a certain time or he needed it at a certain time. The issue is that the fact that it came that quickly, and the fact that regardless of the amount of stamps that were on the envelope, that were not the right amount, even though I paid for the right amount. And again, that dollar stamp, I would think, would have been before this. So meaning these stamps would have had to been further over, or I don't know where else he would have put that other stamp, because I remember it was a man who took care of me at the window. So, but the fact that it wasn't even stamped, and that the fact that it still got here even though it was $1 short, so it just shows you that the supervision of Hashem. So, making, like, even when they scanned it, I don't know what they thought, or if it didn't look at it. And there's no answer according to Teva, like, right? Because people, we always say we're l'mala min ha-teva, we're above the Teva, we're above the nature. So it just shows you that Hashem was the one transporting this to me. And I don't know if Rabbi Reuven will see this video or will have time to watch it, but I think it would be amazing if he would, because he would probably be amazed to hear this story, because it makes no sense according to the nature of how mail gets sent, how quickly it gets from one place to another, etc. So to me, that's a big wow, as I say. I just amazed at the whole process from start to finish. Like I said, him getting the box and me getting it back without the right amount of stamp. It's just, so it just shows you that if maybe you've never had this experience in your life, but things like this do happen. So you have to expect that Hashem is going to decide how things move, and he decides how everything's moving. We don't decide anything. People don't decide anything. The post office didn't decide anything. The guy who put the stamps on it, he didn't decide anything. Hashem decided that I'm doing something good for someone else, and in return I'm getting back what I'm supposed to, even though the post office got things messed up with, and they're not the right stamps and whatever they did, and so it just shows you that you have to understand that Hashem runs the world. Ein od milvado, right? As we say, there is nothing but Hashem. So this was just an amazing story for me, and I hope that this gives you some insight into, like, seeing Hashem, in action, so to speak, and maybe you have other stories to share, and I'd love to hear your stories. If you have any, you'd like to share them below in the comments, that would be great. And I'll just end off with what I usually say is I hope and pray that we will all merit to live and see the coming of Mashiach and the rebuilding of the final and everlasting Beis HaMikdash. Amen, and thanks for watching.